All right. Hey, welcome everyone. Glad that you're here. Hey, Linda, good to see you. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Kim, hi. Hi. Good to see you. I'm honored. This is awesome. And Christine, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome everyone. Oh, this is growing. This is good. All right. Well, at least someone's getting the message. I love it. Yes, hi. And a couple announcements I want to make to start out. And God, we're getting people from all over the country. Hey, Elaine, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Hey, Diana, thanks. Hey, Lynn, yes, you can hear me. Thank God. And I'm going off the phone. I still haven't mastered the computer yet in being able to do these things. And let's see here. Today is July 1st. And hi, Kathy. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Patty, hey, how you doing? Hey, we're rocking and rolling here. Love it. Yes. And all right. Yes. Okay, good, good, good. A couple things I want to start off with is that Lynn and I talked about it, and we'll be doing, she's helping me set up with the Healing Circle every other week. And so that will be at 12 every other Tuesday, and the alternating Tuesdays are going to be 6:30 at night for the Healing Circles. And the gathering, of course, is every Wednesday. And Lynn, if you don't mind, please, can you put up some information about the website that'll have all the announcements and the newsletter. There you go. Hey, there's the information. Lynn's really right on it. I love it. And so, um, and please, each week, if you can get some questions predetermined that you would like me to talk about in the gathering every Wednesday at this time, I'd be more than happy to if I can understand the question or if I can answer it. And I really love it when people try to fool me. So, all right, rocking right along here, rocking and rolling. There you go. Thanks for that, Lynn. I appreciate that. Lynn is my wonderful assistant and hub of most of what I offer publicly and privately here and in other areas, working with the internet and assisting me in so many venues. And so a shout out to Lynn. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And she'll also be posting in the comments tab various informations and stuff like that. Hey, Mariko, good to see you here. Love it. And I'm curious, are you in Japan, Mariko? Is that where you are? I know that's where you live. Is that where you're at now? So, hey, there's the information Lynn's putting up. Awesome. All right. And so let's see here. Um, I love the internet because I don't have to travel internationally for this unless someone wants to invite me to go internationally. And then if everyone feels safe, that'd be great. Hey, Stephen, good to see you here. Thank you so much for being here. And Lynn put up the information about the appointments for spiritual healing, either on FaceTime or Zoom or, telephone, regular telephone call. So whatever your preference is, and I'm very open for it. And the information Lynn has put up, and that's great. And sometimes I'll be able to see the influences that created who you are, what you are, why you are today. And you rock. Thank you so much. Yeah, she's in Japan. Yay! And all right. So uh, in those influences, I might see people that you witnessed in something, uh, and or I might see the people that are a part of your family that have created things or helped you to perceive things of your creations in your life, and things that have disabled you or injured you in some way or another. I might be able to perceive with those things as well. And so there's also workshops, and we're not going to be doing any workshops in July, but except for the mini workshops, and those are free to everyone, please. The same with the gathering here and the healing circles. And in July, we do have the mini workshop of your fearless imagination. It's going to be awesome. All the mini workshops are available at the website. So please do check that out at markehrlich.com. Lynn put that information up for you there. And they're just a series of workshops that I'm doing every other week. They are available, and please do take advantage of that. And same with the Healing Circle every other week. And let's see here. I believe in this gathering, I will do everything I can. Hey, Joanne. Hi. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. I appreciate that. I'll be doing my best to answer any questions that you might come up with. And yeah, thanks, Patty. And also, I'll be working with people intermittently for healing here in the gathering as well. Just a couple people, mostly for the healing circles. Hey, Tracy, good to see you here. Great to see you. Tracy was my part of the publishing team who helped to create what I did for Nightingale Conant. She's amazing, just totally amazing. Haven't had contact with her for a long time. Good to see you. I do see your posts that time, Tracy. So thanks for being here. And at the very end of this, we'll have a very short and powerful meditation, so please participate. It's only going to be 1 to 2 minute long, but it's an eye-opener for people, and I love that. And Lynn's posting all the information, and if you missed any of this, please do feel free to go to the replay of this. And when you do go to the replay, Google loves analytics, so if you could put in hashtag #YouRock or hashtag at the replay, that'd be incredible. All right, I really want to welcome our newer friends here. And you know, we have several people on the Spiritual Healing with Mark Ehrlich's community page. Please do join if you're not a member of that yet. And that's where the main posts are going. And some of them are going onto the Mark Ehrlich's page. But you rock, Kim. Thank you so much, hon. But the spiritual healing, excuse me, I take that back, Spiritual Matters with Mark Ehrlich, we're going to phase that one out. And Lynn and I were talking about either in August or September, I think September, we talked about phasing that one out. And it has a lot of people on, about 2,500, but there's just too many pages, and I'd rather have just this one and Spiritual Healing with Mark Ehrlich, and then the personal page, Mark Ehrlich. And Mark Ehrlich is filled. It has the 5,000 on it, so they won't allow any more. So we're going to start working on this one, Spiritual Healing with Mark Ehrlich. So let's boogie along here. As you've probably already guessed, my name is Mark Ehrlich, and I am a healer by the grace of God. This is all that I do in my life. Hi, Maureen. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Good to see you. And welcome. Totally welcome. And what I do is I work with people. It's something that happened with me a long time ago, and I found out over the many, many years that I'm able, the purpose of this is the ability to be able to help other people to feel better and to teach about the divinity within, the godliness within. And that's what it's all about. We all have it. It's just waiting for us to recognize. And that's basically it. And so, oh, good, we got a bunch of people coming in there. Love it. So I work with light. Light is my gift, my goal, and my tool. And this is all that I do in my life. And I teach it around the country. But now, with the COVID, there's a lot of restriction with peoples and stuff. So I do a lot of telephone stuff, Zoom stuff, and I do the regular internet stuff and the classes, etc. I'm just changing the whole venue, and Lynn is helping me do all the stuff because I have no understanding about it as far as working with the internet things. And my mind is on other things in what I'm doing, and this is Lynn's forte. So that's basically what I do. And so I can, and what I teach is what I do is I can touch or non-touch someone. And most often, most people tell me that there's been a change in life, in their life. And that's all that really matters to me. I don't understand disease. It makes no sense to me. I don't know where the organs are. I'm not a doctor, or I don't have any kind of medical training. And so that's just, the way it is with me. And that's not my forte. This is my forte in working with this. I was brought up in this world of an aspect of spirituality. And I believe that we all have varying degrees of it. And there also are varying degrees of consciousness. And most people that are attracted to this have the ability to varying degrees. And so I can generally help someone who's just starting out, or I can also help someone who's most advanced in this. And so I never know. I just leave it up to the divinity that has the ability to express forth from us. And that's my preference. And I call that spontaneity of the spirit when it does happen, whether it be with healing or teaching. And I've had thousands upon thousands of experiences in helping people to relate to this within themselves and or to feel better, either physically, emotionally, biologically, neurologically, skeletal, whatever. And I have no understanding of organs or anything else. All I know is, where the heart might be, and I know where the eyes are, and the mouth is, and stuff like that. And that's my medical knowledge. And also another aspect of my medical knowledge, the only way I can relate to some things is at one time I was married to a doctor and a neurologist, and for 10 plus years. And then I would hear her giving consults over the telephone, and I would only be hearing half the conversation. So I wouldn't know the whole conversation, but I picked up some stuff from half the conversation. So that's my medical knowledge, which is nil. And so I won't profess to be medically oriented in any way. And the purpose of this is to answer questions and to work with little bits of healing with people where you might experience something. And I won't make any claims. I don't diagnose. I don't prescribe it. I don't tell anyone they're healed. I let people pretty much tell me what's happened. And I've worked with, for the past, I've been conscious of the healing for about 47 years now. And that love of God that's within me, which expresses the healing. And so, and it's the light that comes forth. And so we all have it, but most people will feel that change, as I was saying. And I'm not going to tell anyone that, oh, you're healed. I let, again, people tell me. And this is so much preferred by me. In the old days, many, many years ago, I used to have these huge healing circles in the Chicago area, and it would be like a show and tell. And so then I would just, make a person pass out, or, through healing or whatever. I don't go there. What's really important now is that something in a person's life changes, and that's what I go for. I don't go for the dramatics anymore. And they're just non-purposeful, not only in my life, but for other people as well. So, all that out of the way. a question from my friend Julian, who's been taking several classes, online courses, and he asked me, let me see here. Hi, Mark. Do you have any tips to relax before meditation or throughout the day? Maybe the grounding exercise you teach in your book. Thank you. 1 second here. Let me get a little swig. Yes, I'd like to talk about that a little bit, Julian. And it's about relaxation and getting to the place of a tip for relaxation before meditation or throughout the day. And first, hi, Julian. Sure, I'd like to share what I do at times when there are other things on my mind. And as I want to either relax or pre-starting in contemplation or meditation. I even have to apply this when I'm trying to focus on tasks, etc. Firstly, I have to recognize my active mind. I have to consciously recognize it. And that's most important for me. Then I'll take a few short breaths after I have recognized the activity that I don't want to be in necessarily. I want to have it more conducive for slowing myself down, getting a little bit of the clutter out of my head, and just relaxing a little bit for that state of contemplation or meditation, or focus on something else. So what I do is I'll recognize the active mind, like I said. Then I'll take a few slow breaths, really slow motion breaths, just to breathe in through my nose. This is what I do. I breathe in through my nose, all the way down into the lowest part of my belly. And then I slowly breathe out through my mouth. And I do that because that's the way that I was taught in my order. And I loved it. And it always was helping me to be more conducive for this state of contemplation or meditation or clearing the head. And then I also recognize, I read in the great book that God breathed through the nostrils of man and woman and gave them life. Well, if that's true, we're breathing in the breath of God. So I focus on that. What would it be like to breathe in the breath of God? That usually, right there, does a clarity in the mind. And it helps to put aside a lot of the clutter. And I'll continue that for a little bit. And so for meditation, I know that I generally, I just won't make up something right when I start meditating. I'll have something prepared, a question that I want to know, a real simple question. And I'll have it prepared, and I won't keep changing it when I'm going into that because I'm changing my mind or I think of something else or whatever. I have the same question. And then I'll just continue with the slow breathing. And then the question starts to take over where we don't even, we just lose the consciousness of the breathing. And oftentimes what happens, say, after, as an effect, I know that I'm breathing in the breath of God, so it's like allowing that breath to breathe for you. It's allowing that godliness to breathe for you. That's what happens as you begin to practice this. And then we don't have to, hi Eileen, thanks for being here. Thank you so much. Then we don't have to put any effort into it because it's doing it for us. And oftentimes when we come out of a contemplation or meditation, we truly perceive that we didn't even breathe because it was breathing for us. Sure, we can blow it off as an illusion or delusion or whatever, but that is what I found to be happening within me many times, many, many times over the many years. And so I just accept that in my life. And this is what I need to do and the steps that I just described. And that helps me. Sure, the confusion is persistent at times and it keeps coming back. That's the mass mind, as I refer to it. Some people is mass consciousness. Fine, doesn't matter. I refer to it as the mass mind, and which is there to derail us at times. So our place is to learn how to control that mass mind, and I do it by the breathing and allowing uh, priority and precedence to the breath of God uh, that's being breathed in through my nostrils all the way down to the lowest part of my belly, and slowly and gently, all in slow motion, out through my mouth. And I find it easier and more conducive to go into that state that way. That's what I do. And there's other ways as well. Uh, I won't get into them now, but everyone has a different way. Not everyone. Some people have a different way, and this is my way. I find it the simplest, and I just love being simple. And so again, the confusion will be persistent at times. And it's just learning to control the confusion like it's a child and telling it to wait over there. Go to the side and I'll be right back. You don't want to deny it because that's resisting it. And we have to keep that in mind. We don't want to deny anything really. We want to acknowledge it and say, you're not a part of my life. Wait over there. I'll be right back and I'll give you attention later. And sure enough, later, it'll come back to you for you to give it attention because we live in that mind. And so, but we have the ability to control it. And the more often we practice controlling, the less it'll disturb us, and it happens less and less and further in between each time that it does bother us. So I just know how to say no to it. And even then, there's sometimes that I want to focus, and it just isn't there. It's not there. I know it. And because I just have all these other dynamics happening in my head, and that's the mass mind, an aspect of it, or priorities or whatever, where I should be doing something else. And I find that usually setting up a specific time to do the meditation in the morning or the afternoon or the evening hours in some time or another, that helps to bring about a pattern if you can establish that pattern over time. And that's what I do. And so, and I have a couple different times that I might do these things, but the pattern is always waiting for me at that time if I choose to do it then. And even then, what happens sometimes, it'll be just too much, too many things in my head, and the mind is just unceasing in its clatter and chatter and superfluous chatter and everything. So I just say, okay, I'm not going to do it now. I'll come back to it later. I'll come back to you later, God, and I'll be there and asking you questions or asking for information or understandings about something. That's when I'll go back, is when I've designated that time. And that time is always set up for me, waiting for me if I choose to utilize it. Just, some things that I do. And I won't get discouraged. I don't get impatient with it, or I don't get downed about it if I can't do it right then. And it's fine. It's just totally, totally fine. That's my answer, Julian. So I hope it makes sense. And please do go onto the replay of that and, re-listen if you can, please. So let's see. Christina, please, if you can tell me if there's anything you would like me to work with or anything that I've worked with in the past that has changed. I know as far back as yesterday, I worked with you. And if you could please update me a little bit, I'd really be grateful for that. If there's anyone here that would like me to work with one thing that's not emotional, but physiological or biological or neurological or skeletal that's bugging you, one thing, If it's both arms, tell me the one that's the worst, and then we'll take it from there. We've had a lot of good success, and with people on the internet working with the healing in the healing circles and other events and previous gatherings as well. So please let me know one thing, and I would appreciate it. And when it pops up, I'll try. Hey, Ari, good to see you here. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And let's see here. I'm going to go to this other page and refresh to see if I can get some comments or whatever, if it'll show. Come on. One moment here. I'm trying to get into this darn thing. And I can't get into that darn thing. I can't see. It's not letting me do the comments. Darn it. Oh well. In any case, let me see here. Continue watching. And all right, let me cross this out. And okay, let's see if anyone wrote any comments here. Yeah, the workshops are good. Thanks, Patty. The workshops are awesome. They truly, truly are. Thanks for making a comment about that. I am grateful. And I just can't see the comments on my thing here, my page on my other computer that I'm looking at. In any case, let me go back to this darn thing here. All right. So, Linda, I have a vertical nystagmus in both eyes. Can you please help me? Okay, I think I understand what you're talking about. I don't know understandings of medical terminology so much, but except what people might have shared with me in the past. But I get a different kind of a picture within myself through the intuition. So, if you can just do me a favor and sit back for a moment and relax, and I'm going to just put my hands on your face in my perception. So please just relax and tell me if you can, if you should experience something, share it with me. All right, and I would really appreciate if you should experience either immediately or in 5 minutes or walking down the street 2 weeks or 2 months later, if you notice something has changed in your life from this. Oftentimes, most people tell me that it is an immediate dynamic that happens to them. And it doesn't have to be immediate, it can be in time. And it's according to our lives experiences of how we accept. And that doesn't mean that there's good or bad or right or wrong or you're any of those or whatever. So don't believe that by any means. Everyone everyone is unique, and that's the only way that I can really say it. So everyone is totally unique. Christina, please do answer me if you have any change. Please do share. And she also wrote on here, hello, my question for this week is, we see, feel through our knowing, yes, But are there times that we're given outward signs? I've been seeing a lot of numbers in threes, especially ones, twos, and threes. There is is there a significance, and what's the meaning or message? Thank you. Well, Christina, hi, first of all. Yes, we sense through our knowing, correct. We hear, see, and have activity uh, uh, through our knowing, which is the divinity within us. That's where our senses perceive. And that's based upon our experiences in this world and the genetics in its memory. And so Christina wrote also, yes, healing from yesterday is better today. Thank you. Most importantly is that your teachings have planted the seeds and come up. I can't read the rest of it, Christina, my apologies. Oh, here it is on this page. And come up exactly when I need them. It's never the end of the story. Yes, thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate that. All right, so back to the numbers question. And again, we hear and we see through our knowing, and we sense through our knowing. And the senses are pretty much, in my understanding, in the world according to Mark, they're based upon our experiences and the genetics of our memory. The numbers we experience that are important to us, if we see a number and really notice it as though our mind takes a snapshot of it at some point, and we just created a path for a potential pattern. And that's my answer. Plus, this impression, this pattern, the impression that turns into a pattern can turn into a temporary or a long-term pattern. And meaning, it'll come into a meaning for us, an understanding for us, a story for us, until we reconcile with it. Later in life, we remember it, and whether it be sooner or later, and oftentimes recreate it with another understanding and meaning. So we'll constantly see identifications for that. And so that's my answer. Please, if there's anyone here that would like me to work one thing with them, I'd be more than happy to. And you might sense something happening as you sit back and just relax for a moment and have no idea what I'm doing. And I teach this stuff to people in the courses, and so this is a way for you to experience it and get the drift of it all, to understand a little bit of the teachings, and to also get a little bit of the healing that we all have within us. And what I'm doing is it's almost like tapping into you by God and saying, okay, boss, this is the situation with this person. How are you going to help them? What are you going to do about it? Because none of this is me. And so I figure it's unlimited in the possibility. It's no different than working with a person in person, or a person on the other side of the world. Even in prayer, we do the same thing. And we have the ability, availability to do it. Because it's written that we're creating the image of God. If that's true, if it's really true that we're created in that image, you can call it universal mind, you can call it the Christos, you can call it Buddha, Muhammad, Yahweh, you can call it whatever you want, creator, God, it doesn't care. But it is available to do it for us. All we have to do is come to it. And it's doing it. Just like it's doing it through me, it's doing it through you too. So we're creating the image of God. And that being true, we have the ability to recreate in that image. And if it's true that we're created in that image of God, then we have the ability to recreate in that image, and therefore we are co-creators. So why limit ourselves? Why put ourselves under? Why not take on the authority of that with the power of life and death over creation? That's basically what we're doing. And it's how can we accept that within ourselves? Because that's a really strong statement. That's a real strong statement. And good. All right, let me see here if there's someone wrote something. Linda, I hope that you had a gentle experience with all this stuff. All right, Kim wrote, as a healer, how do you treat ailments you experience? For myself, I'm a little odd, and I know that. And sometimes when something comes upon me, of various diseases, say from other people or from myself that I've developed, what I do is I worry to death over it, and I say, okay, boss, what the hell are you going to do about this? I'm screwed. And so then what happens is usually by the next morning, it's gone, or within a day or two, it's gone. And I no longer have the experience of that, even though I've had the experience of it. And so oftentimes I will, at the same time, work with myself at times too. But I do, say, okay, because I'm trusting. I totally trust. It's like the divinity within, the godliness. It's something that for many years, 37 years now, I've been going to. Excuse me, what am I talking about, 37 years? 47 years I've been going to. And I was brought into so-called spirituality 47 years ago, and I believe it with all my life, with all my heart. And sure, there's always room for growth, as with all of us. So I'm still learning about that divinity. And it's unfathomable. It's so huge. It's non-conceivable. There's so much more to it. And so I'll either usually worry and say, what are you going to do about this? I want to die. Save me, God, or kill me, one way or the other. And it usually takes over and does something. So I've had many a thing, believe me, many a thing. But I've also learned not to take things on from other people. And when I first, for the first 3 months in recognizing the gift, even though we all have the gift, we're the gift. And so in recognizing the gift within us, or within myself, I'll say for right now, that for the first 3 months, I was coming down with every ailment of every person that I worked with. And my teacher would always look at me every single day coming home from work, and he'd say, what the hell happened to you? And I'd tell him this great story of healing, and I'd be getting sicker and sicker and sicker over the days. And every single day he would say, what the hell happened to you, Brother Mark? And so I would then just go ahead and tell him, and he'd hand me a glass of grapefruit juice and send me to bed. I wouldn't even get dinner. I couldn't even eat. Nothing. And it was finally after 3 months that I was so sick and I couldn't get out of bed, and he said, get the hell out of bed, get to work. And so I had to, or else they'd kick me out of the order if I was disobedient. So I went to work, and then I saw myself there at work. I was there, and reluctantly, and I could hardly function at all. Then a bunch of people, at work, they loved it. of watching people being healed for different things. And so when I got to work, I hung up my jacket, and they brought this uh, elderly lady to me who had this massive, massive migraine. And I felt so bad for her. Her face was distorted from the pain, and you can tell that it was very real in her life. And she said that she gets these, a couple times a month, and it lasts for about a week, and it was just horrible. And so I felt real bad for her. I said, sit her down, sit her down. So they sat her down. I put my hands on her head, and then I realized, oh my God, I'm going to get this migraine. I'm going to get sick. I'm going to die. I can't handle this anymore. And this is the last thing in the world that I need. Then I thought to myself, wait a second, I never had this ability to work with this stuff prior to the 3 months, so it's a brand new thing for me. But at the same time, I said, okay, then this must be God doing these things. And then I started being logical in my head, and I said, okay, God, if this is you, and with my eyes closed, I'm saying this, and to myself, and my hands are on her head, I said, if this is you, then you get this migraine. And so I kept picturing God getting this massive migraine and leaving this woman. And I kept picturing that and picturing and picturing it. And then I felt my indicators, which are new senses to me, and in my hands and my arms, and or in my face or whatever. And I knew it was done, maybe about 15, 20, 30 seconds later. And so I took my hands off, and her face was just clear. And then I realized I didn't have the migraine. So ever since then, I say, okay, boss, take over. What are you going to do about this? And so I know we have this ability within us, and the people that are attracted to it in some way or another, that's the calling. Whether it be a full-time thing or just knowing the information of it, maybe that's what they're here for. And I'll teach you, and that's fine. Or it could be just one time working on a family member or working on a stranger on the street that you see. That's what it's for. Or to understand it within yourself, even without working with this stuff. It's available to you, but it leads into more of an understanding of you. And that's what healing is for. So enjoy it if you learn to work with this in a constructive way. And, you don't have to get cooties from anyone else. So, any case, let me see here. That's how I work with it, Kim. And so I won't treat anyone. I say, okay, God, you take care of this. You take care of it. What are you going to do about it? And I pretty much leave it to God. In that moment or moments of working with another person, then I might be able to see causes or people that were involved in the cause, or I might be able to see situations or where they learned it from, or whatever. Hey, Roxy, good to see you. And so Elaine wrote, I need a knee replacement since my knee is bone on bone. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, what I might be able to do, what came to me is, as soon as I read this, is that I might be able to help you with the discomforts. But what I'm going to need you to do is just try to clear your head, not knowing what I'm doing, because you won't. And I prefer it that way. And so what I'm going to do, Elaine, is put my, which knee is it, if you can tell me? I don't even perceive which knee it is. So if you can just share with me, I'd be glad to. And sometimes I can perceive of the parts of the body, even before the person tells me. It's just a thing that happens. I call it spontaneity of the spirit. So Elaine, if you can share with me, or even better yet, if you don't, there might be such a long delay on this, I don't know, on the feed here. So I'm just going to work with, put my hands on both your knees, and you tell me if you sense something happening, And if it was in discomfort, in pain, or is just there, okay, left knee, all right. So my right, your left. I'm dyslexic, I apologize. And please do keep me updated if you sense something happening, Elaine. And please do understand, everyone, medical science, uh, some of medical science is really good, and the purpose of medical science, the true purpose of it, is to help relieve the human condition that we get ourselves into, oftentimes, or have accidents with. Healing can do similar things, but medical science has the authority to work with, um, you know, various correction methods. Nothing wrong with that. It's God-given gift. Please do let me know, Elaine, if you've noticed a change. Yes, good. And the energy is a reaction of helping something to feel better to varying degrees. And so that can also be exponential in its way. And hopefully that will help the situation that you're experiencing. I'm grateful for that. All righty. And let me see here. Um, did she write anything else? Oh, I guess not. Kathy, she wrote, she's reading a woman named Hilda. Did I ever meet or hear of Hilda? No, I haven't. I'm not familiar with her materials. And so, Candace, I haven't read, honest to God, I haven't, I'm not saying this is good because for some people it's not, for many people it's not, and this is the way people keep up with the world. Hey Shirley, thanks for being here. Good to see you. Good to see you. And all right, you're welcome, Elaine. And so, I don't know, you know, um, I just don't know. The question from Candace I wanted to get to. So many times my intuition speaks to me, and 98% of the time is correct. Yes, it's correct 100% of the time. But also, what's happening with the intuition is that uh, the intuition is always there. It's always a part of us, and we can't exist without the intuition. It's through the intuition that we get to experience God, either through knowing and or seeing. So we're living in kind of like a paradox in some sense on this world, and that's a blending of the earth and heaven that we're here to discover, if that makes sense. As I'll get more into that in a little bit. So Candace wrote, so many times my intuition speaks to me 98% of the time, and of that time is correct. And at the same time, Candace, there's, how much can we really perceive of God? of that divinity, of the godliness, of the universal mind, the creator, or whatever you want to call it, how much can we perceive of it? We're living on this orb in the mud, basically, created from dirt, and we have to function here as well. How much of the blending is there in our lives? And you're sensitive. I know that, Candace, and meaning that you're turning into yourself more often. You're turning in to yourself more often. And so the intuition is natural to all humanity and integrated and enmeshed within us. It's how we experience within us the proof that God is real. It's how we experience it within us, the proof that God is real. The more and continually we trust that voice within, the voice that the ancient mystics used to refer to as the small, still voice within, which is intuition and sight of information. It's dependent upon how we continually and as much as we delve into that world, the greater it shares with us. This is how we perceive in contemplations, in meditation, and in prayer work. That's how we perceive things and how things come forth from us. Not what we're thinking, but how it's coming forth from us into our minds, is coming to us. Not what we're thinking it. And it's what comes to us, but not our own purposeful thinking. And so this is how we can perceive. And you're tapping into this, which is pretty amazing. But there's always more to the story. Always. And how deeply do we want to recognize that? And to recognize that there's so much more to the story, I wonder what it is. And that's the questions we can ask ourselves in any moment of perception. I wonder what more there is, or show me more, or tell me more. And it's a way of stimulating that divinity within and letting it know we're open to perceiving more. It wants to help us. It wants to help us to know that it's there waiting for us, to give freely in its unconditional, unfathomable way. It's waiting. And it's when we're wondering about it, yes, Christina, it's in the stillness, in that wondering. No different than the analogy I always give. When you're washing dishes or in a shower, all of a sudden you have an aha moment. It's something, that aha moment is like a revelation. It comes to you of something you wondered about at one time. It's waiting to be acknowledged, shared, then it wants to give more. So we usually have the aha moment of something we wondered about but didn't know the answer to. Then we'll have an idea. That aha moment, that revelation, the spiritual thing that we call it. But it only lasts for moments. But then that's just to share with us that we have the availability for more information. And that's our place to say, tell me more, or help me understand more, or show me more. And it will. As we go back to that place that we just experienced, that experience was there to show us that it's available to us. Great. Just great. All right. Please, is there anyone else? What time? We got a couple more minutes. That's fine. Roxy wrote, where was that thing that Roxy wrote here? Where is it? I can't find it. All right, I'm looking on the bottom of my phone here, and I just don't see it. Any case, anyone else that I can work with, please, real briefly. Elaine, can you tell me if you notice a difference in your knee, in your left knee? Please share with me. Uh, maybe some right hip pain only, slightly. No maybes. Is it bothering you or not? Yes or no? No wishy-washy stuff. Well, don't create anything either, because we can create. We have the ability to recreate in its image, so we can create anything we want. All right. Anyone else, please? And if not, uh, all right. What I'd like everyone to do is to just real gently just close your eyes for a moment, and please follow along with me if you don't mind, because this will be most beneficial if you do, and if you don't, it's okay. You just listen to it later if you want. So close your eyes and just for a moment, and imagine, which means to image in action. It's not pretend and it's not fantasy. Imagine that there's this divinity within you that's alive and well. Just imagine it, the possibility of it. And ask it what it would like to share with you. That's all. This living divinity within you. What it would like to share with you. Nothing more. Don't add anything else to it. When you lose the thought of that or the feeling of that or the sense of that, go back to it. Remind it, what would you like to share with me? This great divinity within, this living consciousness that dwells within you. What comes to you, not what you think. For some, it might be a change. Or for some, it might be an immediate answer or a sight to something. For some, it might be something that you'll perceive in 5 minutes, or sometime tonight, or tomorrow. But as you do experience that, stop yourself. And if you can catch it, when you notice that something has changed or something is being shown or told to you, stop yourself and you'll remember where that came from. You'll remember that it was something that you asked it. It's like an aha moment when you thought of someone or thought of a situation and came up with an answer that you didn't know the answer to that prior. It will be shared with you. This is what we're learning to do in our life, which increases the intuition. It's a part of your life naturally. We're finding it. We're rediscovering it within us, which enlivens us in many ways. All right, last thing, Lane wrote, the pain is the same, but there is something happening in the knee. Just wonder what it is without coming up with an analysis or thinking about it or critiquing it or judging it or anything else. Don't allow that to happen, because that's destructive versus constructive of what's happening. And let me do one more little quick thing, Elaine, with the knee. There. And please, before we go, if you have an opportunity, tell me how the pain is now. If it's changed any or the same or worse, please. All right. But something is happening in the knee. That's what matters. That's what matters. And that's what will help you in your life. Thank you, everyone. I'm honored that you're here. I'm appreciative. If you missed any of this, you may want to go back to the replay and listen to the first part or the whole thing again or whatever. Thank you so much for being here. Blessings to everyone, and I'm going to repost this in about 1 minute if Facebook allows me to. Bye-bye, everyone. Looking forward to seeing you next week and also at the Healing Circles and the mini classes. And the mini class coming up, which is about your imagination. And right in there for the analytics thing, you rock, hashtag you rock. It has to be hashtag one word, you rock. Thank you, Shirley. Blessings to you. All right, Elaine. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. And Kim, thank you. Bye. Blessings to you.